Mark Stein is reporting this rumor that supposedly, according to an NBA executive for one of the Summer League teams, they said that Durant was more apt to retire than play for the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm just going to read this following excerpt from Stein where he wrote, if Durant has, I'm going to repeat again, if Durant hasn't been traded by training camp, there is a growing expectation in league circles that he will continue trying to cause as much of a ruckus behind the scenes to try to prod the Nets into lowering their asking price at last to facilitate a deal. If it wasn't apparent by now, he really wants that trade to Phoenix or Miami, or maybe even Boston or Philadelphia, no matter what it does to his reputation when he hasn't played a single game yet under the 4-year, $194 million contract extension signed in August of 2021. So this guy is I think his extension starts this year. So he's scheduled to receive 4 years, $194 million, basically close to $50 million a year for like the next 4 years. So I have a hard time believing this, that Durant's actually going to give up that money. One thing I've learned about rich people over the years, even when they're set forever and they have wealth where even their great grandkids will never have to work, and money that could set them up for like 1,000 years, basically generations after them, they still want more. And they still try to get more. They just can't shut off that part of them. That greed can never be turned off. And I apply that to all rich people. That's athletes, that's entertainers, that's businessmen, that's entrepreneurs. It just crosses the whole entire gambit, as they would say. So I just don't believe for a second that Kevin Durant's going to give up that money. I don't believe it. I just don't see that happening. I just think this is just another attempt at trying to get the Nets to trade him. It reeks desperation more than anything, that his people are very desperate. Granted, you could say that Mark Stein is making this up, and these insiders tend to make up lies, like I would say half the time, but with Durant, I tend to believe this to be more true because he is the type of guy to pull these emotional stunts. He has a history of doing this, and I believe his people probably leaked out this stuff to that executive, and then it got leaked out to Mark. So obviously, I definitely do believe that there's truth to this. Well, to that this was leaked out by his camp, but I don't think he's gonna pull it off. I think his camp and him are trying to scare people, well, mainly the Nets, that hey, you need to trade me or else I'm just not gonna play, and that's that. But I just don't buy it for a second. I just think he's trying to pull his holdout. Maybe he won't report to training camp, but I have a hard time believing that because I think he has to report to training camp to collect the remainder of his paycheck for the whole entire upcoming season, because he's already got paid part of it during the summertime. So I do think he'll report, but who knows? Maybe he'll pull some shit where he reports and he gets that check and he doesn't play for the rest of the year. But even if he does that, they can fine him left and right. So I just don't see this working out in his favor. But it just shows he's desperate, and it's not a smart play by Durant, because when you show your opponent in life that you're desperate, they know that you're in a weak position from a bargaining standpoint. If you're Sean Marks in the Nets, you know to stand strong and not to fall for this. So I don't think it's going to work out for Durant the way he wants it to work out. But I think now we're just all waiting to see if he reports to training camp, if he's actually going to not show up. I think it'll be interesting. But just like I said, another desperate attempt by Durant to get out of Brooklyn. So this show is still continuing. We'll just stay tuned and let me know what you guys think.